All right, there you go. There you go. Hey guys, welcome to the video. Welcome to the channel. Last time we left off here, we had cut a big hole in the back of the 35 Chevy two-door sedan. And today I'm just going to do the intro for this video and kind of show you here. I have this side fully welded and ground, this lip right here. This side is fully welded, but I haven't touched it with a grinder. So yeah, it looks pretty ugly, right? I wouldn't write home about that. And then the bottom here, this is kind of my first process. I went through, put that strip of metal in there, tack weld it every 6 inches, then split that into 3.5 inches, and then now I've got them about 3/4 of an inch apart. And what I'll do is I'll come back with a grinder, I'll grind this flush, and then I will disregard those. I might use them for a starting point, but I will just weld this fully 100%. That's why this side over here is all lumpy and bumpy. Part of the reason is I'm using 030 wire and CO2 gas running on a 220 machine as hot as I can, so that this is 100% penetration. So, hey, if you like what we're doing, give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel, guys. We're working on this right now. We're going to be back on a C10 before long. Car show season's almost here. Lots of stuff going to be happening this summer. So, hey, I'm just happy that you all are watching and glad that I can provide content for you. Now, I got to figure out my next step and get on to working on this thing. Guys, I wanted to bring you back in and kind of show you where we're at right now. I've got my flanges all finished welded, ground down. I haven't ground this and got rid of all the discoloration from the heat, from all that welding, but like we're looking pretty good. And then the next piece is this fancy thing here. Not really, just another piece of some 18 gauge that I bent, and I've taken it and used the shrinker and stretcher so that if I line that up with the edge of our body, it's pretty close. So the thinking is the door is going to follow that same contour. We're going to mount this in about 1/2 inch. I say mount it. More welding and more grinding to get that all fitted in there, but we'll have it in. And then the interior lip of this opening will be finished, and yee, we can start thinking about these hinges. I've been looking at how to mount them, and you know, the body's got this curve. They're really big and they don't need all that room, but it's there for just reinforcement. So we're going to take them and I'm going to try to get them in low, one around this body line area. Yeah, that's coming up a ways down the line. I'm also going to have to clean this up, fill this big hole, drop this down right here, you know, get it where the middle section of this floor is flatter. And I'm probably going to redo some bracing on the inside of our body here. I have to add some more stuff because we're going to be hanging that whole door off of our hinge pillar here, soon to be fabricated. So I just wanted to bring you in, let you know where I'm at. It's been really stinky, nasty stuff, and I don't imagine you want to watch 14 videos of me tack welding, going back and grinding and all of that stuff. So hey, this is where we're at, and I'll bring you back when we get some more progress made. so you just saw that. Lots of sparks flying. You know, I'm sure you're all sitting back going, Brian, you welded it on. Why are you cutting it back off? Well, I wasn't cutting all of it back off. I just didn't want to have a big lip hanging off of the back of this when I put this piece up there. So we'll be able to almost just get another corner joint right there, which is a pain in the rear to weld, but it's going to make it look good. And then we're going to end up with about 3/4 of an inch there for weather strip to hit on. Give us plenty of room to move our door around and everything. And yeah, I did get the top of this built too. And I don't know how well them little chew marks show up, but boy, there was a lot of shrinking and stretching and back and forth. But we did get it to where it'll fit in here pretty good. I'm just holding the camera with one hand and that with the other. So yeah, you can see it's not bad. Not bad. We can definitely weld it. That up there, we're going to have to fight, you know, but hey, what's better than a little fighting while you're trying to get stuff positioned and weld it up. We don't want to pull a bunch of tension on things and distort our roof, but yeah, that's just a hard piece. I wish I could have made all this out of one. I mean, it would have just been like two more bends there, and then shrinking and stretching forever. I don't think we would have ever got it built as good as what we're going to get it built with multiple pieces. All right, so here's one of the steps I've been doing as I work to get this weather strip lip put in this car. I've taken 18 gauge, I've cut it with a plasma cutter, you saw that. Now I've folded it into a 90, and I'm taking my dividers, and I put Sharpie on here so you can actually see the scribe mark down it, but you just take and get that dude set and then scratch it. Gives you a nice accurate line, and then we can take and we can grind or cut or whatever back to that line, and we know that we've got everything straight at that point, so we can weld this dude in and it'll be a consistent height. That's what you're really going to see when this is all together, is the height of that weather stripping on there. So just thought I would throw that in, another little thing that I'm doing as I go. All right, so it did get dark on us, but we got this side, the weather strip lip all put in around the top. Then on the other side, during the week after work this week, I'm going to go ahead and fully weld this in. I just have them tacked in there and fitted. The bottom piece I haven't built yet. It won't be too hard to build. I've got to get this done so I can clean my shop up. So here is another piece of this puzzle. As I'm trying to mount this weather strip edge, you can see there's a Sharpie mark there. So I just basically drag this along with my Sharpie right at the edge of it, because it's hard to see those scribe lines once you start welding and stuff. So I do that, and then I ground back within about 1/8 of an inch to the line all the way down it. So that way, when we go to put this in there, we have a good guide to follow just to keep everything straight. And we're running it with the outside of the body, so this is a consistent distance. And you can see I've run this thing through the shrinker and kind of got it, you know, there's quite a bit of shape in that part, believe it or not, even though it's a long, almost flat piece. So we got that in there. So the next step in this process is just to do a little filing and clean up anything that might be left on the back of this. Get this piece tacked in there nice and even. And yeah, then, I don't know, 11 feet or so of weld going around this thing. But I'm hoping to have all of that done. So you ever wonder why you can't see when you're welding? Yeah, Change those cover lenses every once in a while, guys. Clean them up.
Well, you'll see. It'll be easy as pie. It'll look great.
All right, so edges are all finished out. I've just got this piece thrown in here right now because, hey, why not? Now, I've come back in and I've ground all my tacks out. I still need to come back, sand this, get rid of the burn marks there. You can tell how much heat went into this thing, but it's looking pretty good. I did figure the welds on this, and it's 3 feet tall to here from the bottom corner, and it's 3 feet across. So 3 feet here, 3 feet on this side, 3 feet on the top, 3 on the bottom. That's 12 feet for the outside corner, 12 feet for the inside here. So that's 24 feet of weld that we've put into this back panel so far. And I've still got the whole inner structure of this door to do. I did take and I started cleaning on it a little bit and just getting myself ready mentally for what I got to do there. It's got to have a flange that comes over like a normal door that just sits flush with it. I'm going to have to edge weld that all the way around. And then we got to build off that and then come inside. We've got to have structure in there for our door hinges to bolt to. Got to have a latch mechanism. And I've got to flatten this out so that my glass has someplace flat to glue to. So I think I could probably say that I was a third of the way done. So alrighty guys, you saw the door sitting in the hole. I started building these pieces. They match the contour of the body. That door will sit here and I'll edge weld this all the way around it. I've worked with that shrinker stretcher a good bit and got it where everything matches the body contour, but I only got it up to here. So I've got to finish around. I got my metal already cut here, just got to bend it and then start with the shrinker and the stretcher to make it fit that. So this is the back side of a set of dies for my shrinker stretcher here. This is actually the shrinker die, and you can kind of see sort of how this thing works. It's just basically applying pressure and it's grabbing and it's pulling together. I can't force it down hard enough to make it move those jaws, but the inside jaws, they just glide on the surface up here and it pulls them together. I have taken this set apart and I've polished these edges so they slide a little bit easier. It's probably due for a little bit of some kind of dry lube in there to make them slide better, but they do work pretty well. I mean, you can see what we've been doing here. We've been putting some pretty serious bends. I did tear the metal here and had to weld it back together, but that's mainly because I bent it in the wrong spot. I had to rebend it, and yeah, you can do that kind of stuff with it though. But you can see it makes those general shapes really easily. The tool, I got it for doing rust repair around wheel lips and building some simple tubs and different stuff. It'll do a lot of stuff for you though. It'll really help you out in just the basic sheet metal tools that you need to get. Now, you look at mine, it's got this stand, and it's all dirty because it lives in the body shop, and that's what happens to you when you do that. You can see you got a long lever here to give you lots of pressure, and I just have a simple piece of a bolt welded to a piece of rod that goes down and it threads into a nut, and I built kind of my own clevises, used the handle that came with the tool, cut it off, built that. Nice small stand with these angled feet. I kind of like them because they give it quite a bit of stability without taking up a huge amount of room. It does have a piece of 1/2-inch plate welded in the bottom to make it really stout. And I'm going to set you up over here and actually start curving this piece of metal, because we need to bend this curve now. So I have thrown a few marks in here to kind of give me an idea of where I need to bend. I just barely need to stretch it here, and then we need to stretch more, and then less. That gives us our arch, right? So let's see how it works for us. This set of jaws, I don't know if they're dirty, what's going on. They're not grabbing as good as what they once did, but I mean, this thing's been used, guys. So I just kind of bounce back and forth. It'll do a lot if you just barely go in, but it also distorts the metal quite a bit. So we don't want to do that. And I like to carry it back over to the car and kind of check to make sure I'm in the right realm of where I need to be doing all the stretching. Hey, binds up. Yeah, it's great. It does the job till the camera comes on, and then everything is just kind of sketchy after that. All right, so let's go check it out over on the car. You can see the little teeth marks there where she's biting in there. Oh, don't want to make you guys too dizzy. So I butt it up and I see, okay, I'm starting to get my curve in there. Like this point right here, we got to do a bunch more bending centered around that point. Yep. Oh yeah. It's perfect. So I just keep kind of hovering around that. Occasionally you do have to take it back over and hit it with the hammer, but you can see what's happening to me. I'm just getting too aggressive trying to make results for you all, so I bent it hard enough that I split the metal. So I'll go ahead and finish stretching around it before I weld that back together though, because yeah, ripping the edge of it off there now. It's getting aggressive on it. I've been back and forth a couple dozen times. I showed you a little bit, but I didn't show you everything. So now we got it where it fits in that curve, sort of, kind of. I mean, it's not perfect, but now we've got to shrink this flange so it matches the curve of the body right there. Then we can get it to meet up with our other piece, and maybe we can weld something together. All right, so you can see here a few teeth marks in there, a few around here, a big gouged out spot that we'll have to fix, and still, like, you know, it's fitting the way it needs to. It's laying flat against that flange. As we come in here, we'll have to put us some scribe marks on there. I've got to grind the edge off so that that flange is the same all the way up and down. We still got a little bit more to do, but it is super close. And you know, this one is kind of the same way. It's fitting in there pretty nice. I hope I have done a good enough job of explaining that the the sheet metal we cut out fits up against this and it welds to the edge. And then the inner part of the door is going to build off of this. I don't have enough metalworking tools or skills to build that whole door in one piece. I think by doing it in multiple pieces, it's going to work great. Another channel where they do a lot of that kind of stuff is on Fitzy's Fabrication. He does a lot of just simple tools. I don't even think he has a shrinker stretcher in his shop, and he builds some pretty cool stuff. So it's really just the amount of imagination that you use to put it together. If you can build it out of a piece of paper, cut it and make it, tape it together, you can cut it and weld it out of sheet metal if you just take your time. Hey guys, let's look at these dies real quick here while we're working on stuff in the shop. So this is the shrinker die. Oh, it's going to fall off there. It's going to go into a million pieces. No, it's not. So this one, you can kind of see as this mechanism on this tool works, it pushes down, that pushes here, it grabs those and it kind of squishes them together, and they grab the metal with some teeth in here and pull it, and that grabs it, pulls it together, forces the metal into itself, makes it shrink. This one is a stretcher, so it's grabbing the metal and it's pulling it apart as it comes down against there. It's kind of a crazy design, but yeah, it all comes into pieces. I definitely need to take these and lube them a little bit. I did polish them up when they were new because they were pretty gritty to make them work just a little bit smoother. They still mark the metal really bad, but for what we're doing, that's fine. We can deal with a few marks. So they're pretty simple. They just fit in here and have these little thumb screws that tighten against them. Tightens it up, holds it in there kind of. That little clip goes over the top, and yeah, things work pretty good like that. Well, all right guys, in this video we've done quite a bit. We completely closed in the back of our car, and then I came back and I built this framework right here that if I unhook that, it's going to fall out on the floor, so I'm not going to do that right now. But our sheet metal will fit up against this. I've got to come back and make some straighter lines in here. This is, it's built tight into this opening, or reasonably much so. We have to have a door gap, but we're going to worry about that in the next video. This was a pretty big challenge to get all this stuff fitted up where it's as good as what it is. And we will continue on. It does look like it's running uphill, but this piece has been a little bit crooked. This piece is a little bit long. You get the picture. We can't have it completely swedged in there. She's going to have some kind of a door gap. So, hey, I really appreciate my new subscribers. Appreciate all those guys that have been around and watched me learn how to make videos. Man, that's got to have been quite a trip. So, I appreciate you. Thank you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. Tell a friend if you think there's something in one of my videos they could use. And we'll catch you on the next one, guys.